First things first, every woman is hypergamous. This means that she is always on the lookout for a man who is better than the one she is currently in relationship with, that is, better looking, has more money and possessions, or has a higher status. Hypergamy is genetically determined and is designed by nature to ensure that a woman always chooses the highest quality man available to her for the purpose of procreation. Of course, not all women live it out to the full. Education, religion, or ethical standards can certainly counteract this. But it smolders inside them, and at some point they may give in to the urge. A woman's sex life begins around the age of 15, a little earlier for some and a little later for others. At this age, the hormones kick in, and interest in the opposite sex can no longer be curbed. The result is often a high degree of promiscuity. In her early 20s, the young woman is in the prime of her life. She can practically choose the man she wants and is particularly sought after by high-quality premium men who have money, status, possessions, and good looks. She usually makes heavy use of this. In this phase of her life, she then meets her great love, a high-quality premium man. Naturally, she tries to keep him and often succeeds in doing so for a while. She may even manage to get him to marry her or have a child with him. As a rule, however, she does not manage to hold on to the man in the long term, because as a high-quality premium man, he is also desired by other women. He will probably cheat anyway, because women make it easy for him. And in the end, he will leave his previous partner for another one. So his ex is left alone. She is now in her late 20s and realizes that she no longer attracts the high-quality man she was able to get in her early 20s. If she already has a child or is divorced, this will earn her even more negative points with men. Although she won't have any problems getting a man interested in an affair, she will notice that the quality of the man is declining. She no longer reaches the premium men because they are looking for younger women in their early 20s, and because of their high status, they get them. The woman in her late 20s is therefore only left with the second set. What's more, she can now hear the biological clock ticking. She knows that if she still wants to get married and have children, she will have to start taking care of it now. Consequently, she changes her preferences when it comes to men and no longer looks for exciting guys, but for a reliable long-term provider who can support her and possibly also the child she might have with the man of her dreams. To do this, she first looks at her orbiters, that is, men who are in her environment, in the hope of ending up in bed with her at some point. She usually finds what she is looking for there. So it doesn't take long before she is married and has 1 or 2 children. She is now in her early 30s, and as a married woman and mother, she is of course no longer as interesting to men as a 20-year-old single woman. As the quality of man is concerned, she has now reached the third set, and the trend is downward. She also notices that her physical charms are diminishing, and it is not uncommon for some women to start having plastic surgery in her early 30s. She is also trying to attract male attention again, for example on social networks, where she posts risky photos of herself or even uses a dating app even though she is married. You can see this particularly well with prominent women in their mid-30s and older, who undress for erotic magazines or appear at gala events in dresses that make them look more naked than dressed. Her marriage is floundering because her husband is a good long-term provider, but unfortunately boring. Consequently, she tries to resume her party life from her youth as best as she can in her mid-30s. At the very least, she will look for 1 or more lovers. Whether or how her husband reacts to her cheating depends on his character. Long-term provider types often simply try to ignore it. She is now in her late 30s and approaching 40. It is not uncommon for a woman of this age to run off with a lover in a fit of old age panic. She then leaves her husband and family for him and moves to another city. The relationship may go well for a few years, but now she has passed the age of 40, and the aging process can no longer be overlooked despite cosmetics and plastic surgery. At some point, her lover starts looking for a younger partner. He may not be a premium man, but he can score with women who aren't too picky. She is now in her mid-40s. If she still looks reasonably good now, she will still attract men for affairs, but it will be difficult for long-term relationships. She can no longer pay attention to the quality of men and has to take what comes her way. It's also time to get used to the fact that she will soon be turning 50. So she should join a circle of friends with women her own age, like the ones you sometimes see sitting in coffee houses. Even at 50, she can still attract men in the older age groups for affairs as long as she is visually appealing. But in the long term, she should be prepared to spend her evenings on the sofa with her cat and a bottle of red wine.